What's up, folks? Welcome to Here's the Deal. I'm Chez.
You know me, Sarah Hoffman.
You think you're that popular that
I know
you
so.
have the audacity to say how popular you are?
They know us.
I mean,
they know us. They know us and they love us.
Is someone a little full of themselves
Maybe
this morning?
Maybe.
Huh?
Maybe just a little bit.
Well, thanks for joining us today. We've got a few things to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the new hires.
Yes.
For Auburn. We're also going to talk about the brand new Duke program and the dark horses of the 2017-2018 season.
We're going to give you the deal on all of that.
Yeah,
plus more, because we want to
down.
hear from you too. So
Absolutely. So if you're on Facebook right now, feel free to comment. We want to hear your questions and your thoughts about some of the topics that we're going to be addressing today. So
first up,
Auburn.
Well, it wouldn't be a Here's the Deal without a discussion about
Auburn. Yeah, I know. I feel like that's like a recurring topic.
The topic of the off season.
Yeah.
They made some hires.
They did.
We knew it was coming.
Uh-huh.
We were actually very interested and excited in those hires.
Interested
as
and
we were
excited.
speculating last week. First up, Jerry Glasgow, Texas A&M.
Well,
what do you think?
I think. Well, think about this. He's been at Georgia. He's been at Texas A&M, and now Auburn. So, literally, he's been at 3 different SEC programs. Obviously, Jerry has proved himself at a high level. Let's talk a little bit about the numbers from last season. Obviously, his main forte is offense. And Texas A&M had a .490 slugging percentage, .298 batting average, which is really good, and a .412 on-base percentage. I don't really know Mickey personally, so I'm interested to know kind of like what is the backstory. How are those two connected? Have they worked together in the past? What's the relationship there? But is it a good hire? I would say so.
I would think so. In 2016, Glasgow broke 5 school records, all offensive, at A&M. We mentioned that he was also at Georgia. He set over 20 team offensive records in his time at Georgia. So he definitely knows what he's talking about offensively. I think I agree with you. I think it's a really good hire for Auburn. But yeah, I'm kind of curious. It's a good question that you brought up. I don't know what the connection is there.
I was actually a bit surprised. We saw Texas A&M make the College World Series, and they haven't been there in a while. And you would assume like you'd want to keep that dynamic and that synergy moving forward, because Texas A&M, they don't lose a whole lot going into this year. Like, I expect them to have a really strong 2017-2018 season, but I mean, he's shaking things up, going to Auburn.
Because Joe Evans just got that contract extension. They're going to get a new stadium.
They're getting a brand new stadium.
Are looking good.
They were looking.
And now the
Splitsville
for Glasgow. People, Aggies out there, tell us how you feel about losing Glasgow. Auburn, tell us how you feel about gaining Glasgow. The other hire, Annie Smith from Georgia Southern. Let's talk about that hire.
So I think it's a great hire. I have mad respect for Annie. I've known her for a while, worked some camps with her. Very smart woman. Knows the game, constantly learning. It's really interesting, like with like certain dynamics, like because you wonder like how is this really gonna like come together with all those different personalities, and not only that, but moving into a situation where there was a lot of drama.
Yep.
And actually, it's still ongoing.
Sure. Because, people are talking about it. We're talking about it every week. So people are still talking about this. And these coaches, we're not quite sure how they're connected. And like you mentioned, you're bringing together, it's a whole new thing. You're bringing together 3 coaches, personalities. How is all that going to kind of mesh? And is it going to mesh quickly enough for them to have a great season again? But I like Annie. I like that hire as well. Like we see her a bunch on the recruiting camp trail.
Yeah.
As when we're at club tournaments, I think she's a smart coach, smart lady. And I think she's going to do a great job. I do find it interesting that after this scandal, Auburn has hired a female coach. Mm-hmm. It was an all-male coaching staff. Is it coincidence? Possibly. Was it mandated by the university? Possibly. We don't know. I probably will never know. I just find it interesting that they finally have a female on staff after having an all-male staff.
Yeah. I'm going to speculate and say yes. That was a power move. I mean, they went in swiftly to change the guard with a notable coach who's been successful and is known for running a tight ship.
Yeah.
And then it makes sense that they would add that piece to it. I mean, I think it's a good thing, even if it was. Let's just speculate and just say it was mandated. I think it's a smart move anyway, for the sake of the girls, to have somebody who can act as some type of mediator or buffer. You know, is it needed all the time? No, but I think in regards to what happened in the previous season and the ongoing investigation, I think it's smart. And
she's a very talented coach on top of that, you know, so we're not just talking about like, oh, they hired a female to hire a female. Like, no, Annie Smith is very deserving of assistant position at a top SEC school.
I mean,
like,
she comes with head coaching experience. I think she will do a phenomenal job making sure things are organized and managed well. And, you know, she's very easy to work with in my experience, just working camps with her. So, and I've actually worked camps with Jerry Glasgow as well. So
you know these guys.
Yeah, I know.
Give us the inside scoop. What do you she's withholding information from us, folks. She knows these guys.
Yeah.
No, but how do you think the first season's gonna go? Oh, Bruce is asking any news on Auburn. Bruce, thanks for joining us. We are talking Auburn right now. They hired Jerry Glasgow and Annie Smith as assistants, and we're breaking that down right now because Chez works camps with them. She knows.
Yeah, I just kind of.
She's a big deal. Told you they know your name.
So, I've worked with Jerry, and obviously he comes with his strategy and his approach to hitting it works. You know,
Clearly,
and you can't argue that.
He's had success at Georgia and Texas A&M.
Yeah, and his daughter, Jerry Ann, very close to Jerry. Good name.
Yeah, you know, they just did that. I think it was planned.
She had a phenomenal career
at Oregon. A great career.
So I think, you know, he does a phenomenal job offensively. So how do I think Auburn's going to do this year? I think they'll do well. I do have questions on who is going to be the commander behind the plate, because I think that's really important. And then I think it'll be important that the Snow sisters stay healthy. But, I mean, they have returning pitching.
Yeah, they sure do.
Yes, they lost some seniors. I think we'll see them go through several changes through the lineup to try to figure out what's the best dynamic there on offense.
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity. You know, you mentioned they lose some senior leadership, which those were really strong seniors. But I think with the new coaching staff and now an opportunity for new captains to arise on the team, I think it's just kind of a fresh start for the whole team. Like, let's wipe the slate clean. Let's start over. And I think they're going to have a strong season. We got a comment here about Coach G. Coach G is a great hire for Auburn. I hope to see all three coaches gel and keep the momentum going for the Tigers and the ones coming up. And somebody's asking about Carly Wallace. Do you guys know anything about Carly Wallace?
She is now at Baylor.
Nestor, she is at Baylor.
That's where she's
at Baylor.
She went there.
She's there? She went there?
She's there now. She's there now.
What she's doing.
And she's going to finish out her last year.
Yeah, we were just talking about we're not sure who's going to fill the gap for Auburn behind the plate since Wallace went to Baylor. But we'll see. It'll be a fun fall to watch them, kind of what they do this fall.
Yep, exciting and interesting.
We're interested and excited here, folks. Moving on.
We got another question.
Oh, do we?
Predictions on who will be on the left side.
Sorry, I missed that one.
I can see Kaitlyn at short for sure. I think third base. I think we saw Kendall Veach in rotation at third base. They got a lot of options, in my opinion. And what it really boils down to, and you guys know this, is offense. So whoever's hitting is going to find a spot like on offense, unless they like literally have butterfingers like on the infield. I'm sure the coaching staff will find a spot for them on offense. But right now, that's kind of like my prediction right now on the left side.
You heard it here first, folks. Auburn's left side from Chez Severs. Yeah, Wallace is a big loss. We hear you, but it's great for Baylor. All right, I think we're going to wrap up. If you have anything else on Auburn, let us know. But we just went through the coaching staff, the new picks, and we're going on to Duke. Brand new.
Blue Devils.
Brand new program.
She's there.
Chez was there. She had the opportunity to go do a little project with them.
I did.
So we're just all going to sit back and let Chez talk about her trip to Duke.
Okay. All right. So last week I got the opportunity to hang with the Duke softball team and got to film some cool stuff, some behind-the-scenes practice, coaches meetings, also did a stadium tour. It's beautiful. If you haven't been to Durham, it's gorgeous, beautiful campus. I think what's really cool from what I saw at Duke was the amount of support that the university put behind the softball team. I mean, it is amazing to literally spend millions of dollars
out the gate.
Yeah, right out the gate to create something special for years to come is really, really cool. So I was very happy to see that. Their facilities are really nice. That blue looks pretty crisp. I kind of like it. It's not like a true like royal blue, but
it's Duke.
Yeah,
it's Blue Devil blue.
It looks so sharp.
They got Tar Heel blue and they got Blue Devil blue down there.
Yeah, they have a nice conference room for team meetings and indoor hitting facility, and lovely field, good backdrop. So we got a question here, Zachary Hancock. What kind of depth does Duke have with it being its first season? That's a great question. I think that's going to be something that we're gonna see. We're gonna see this defense and offense goes through some trial periods
for sure
to see who's going to perform. They are still very, very young. They've got a mix of transfers and brand new freshmen. But at the end of the day, like, they're all freshmen because everybody's new to the program.
But I will say, new, everything's new.
Yeah. Keep your eye on Rain Wilson. She was a transfer from JMU. And my prediction is she's going to be the leader of that team, both internally and offensively. She really impressed me. With her maturity and then also how she swings the bat. So that would be one to watch. The pitching staff, I think, will they're still figuring out. You know, like if you can imagine, what if you just like scrimmage like for an entire year? Like the season hasn't truly become real yet. And we saw on Saturday, Duke had their first game ever against NC State. And didn't do too bad. I mean, it was an 8-3 loss for first home game ever.
Not bad.
And then they took another loss going to Elon, a 3-2 loss there. So I think we'll see how their pitching staff shapes up. And really, I think when it comes to who we're going to see on the field, it's going to come down to offense.
Yeah.
I mean,
it always does, right?
Totally.
But I feel like the pitching staff is in good hands with Marissa Young. I mean,
and Lacey Waldrop.
Yeah.
I mean, she was kind of a player of the year. And not to mention, she just came off a championship season with Oklahoma. So, I mean, Lacey, I was very impressed in the bullpen with Lacey Waldrop. She is such a pro and has a great demeanor and presence in the bullpen with those pitchers. I was for her being a first year assistant coach, I was very impressed.
Yeah, how big time is that for her to land like an assistant coaching job at a Power 5 school? Good for her. And there are a lot of players who can play really well, but they don't really understand how to coach. And it sounds like Lacey really understands coaching as well as the game, obviously. And she had a great career.
Well, she's had 2 really good mentors. I mean, could you imagine? Excuse me. She is coached by Chez over at Florida State. So she goes through that. And then experiences coaching with Missy Lombardi at Oklahoma. What a great combo of coaches to be mentored by. Oh, yeah. I mean, 2 different styles, but honestly, that's kind of like a pitching coach's dream, to be able to be shaped by some of the best pitching coaches in the country. And I honestly, I think Lacey's going to have a long, successful career as a softball coach. I'm very excited to see what she's able to do with the Duke pitching staff.
She's certainly off to the right foot. On the right foot. We got a question about getting noticed by college scouts. Let's take it. All Andrew's wondering the best way to get noticed by college scouts, high school or travel ball.
Well, I think the short answer is travel ball. There's just more coaches around. But if you're looking at a school locally, then high school might be a good option, because during the season, if those coaches have time off, especially before they get into the heart of conference, they will take those recruiting visits, they'll go scout high school games, because it doesn't count against the recruiting days. So if there's an opportunity there, that's great. I know, like, when I coached at a mid-major, I would go and scout during the week when I had the opportunity. But overall, short answer, travel ball is the way to go. Winning certainly helps. That's
winning. If you take nothing away from this show today, folks, winning helps. That's the deal.
Just saying.
Winning helps.
It's just kind of true, right?
No, it's very true. I'm
not going to go scout like a losing team.
No. Makes complete sense. Chez knows what she's talking about, folks.
Simple.
Any news on Clemson? Somebody's asking about Clemson, talking about new programs.
Right. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a hire come this winter. Or if they don't find a hire this winter, they're going to wait till this 2017-2018 season is done, and they'll try to swoop somebody up. My prediction, though, I think they're going to take a top assistant somewhere.
Yeah, snag one of those. I remember, I think Marissa Young was hired around this time 2 years ago. I think they hired her 2 years out. I remember doing an interview with her right when it was announced that Duke was going to be starting a program. So that would fit the timeline, right?
Yeah.
Like now or at the end of this season to grab a top assistant. I think that's when you're going to see Clemson make a move.
Yeah, I just think that it would happen sometime during this winter, because there's a lot of things that have to be put in place. Logistically, that coach will have to hire assistants and then start formulating a plan on how they're going to recruit. And then not to mention on top of that, a brand new stadium. So you're dealing with that as well.
It's a process. It's definitely a 2-year process. It's not something you're throwing together. So I would assume, Donnie, that they're going to be starting this process pretty soon.
Who would you like to see as a Clemson head coach?
Man, I don't know.
It'd be pretty sweet living in South Carolina.
Yeah? Are you throwing your hat in the ring?
No. We already discussed this. That's why I'm here.
Zachary is wondering about NC State. What did you see from NC State? Any improvements?
It's too early to tell. Quite honestly, you don't read too much into the fall, because really the coaches are trying to move people around, get the pitchers a certain amount of innings, and you don't take a whole lot of judgment away from what you see in the fall. You can see what you're going to have potentially in the future, but I don't think you make too many judgments. And then it's just like they play Duke, who's a first-year program, so like really, is that a good, accurate assessment of like where they're going to be this year?
Right.
I would think not. But I think they got a strong coaching staff. How will they do? I'm not sure. We'll have to see.
All right. We're talking dark horses, people.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us who your 2018 dark horse pick is.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to go through a couple of ours. I'm going to let Chez kick this off.
Okay.
Chez?
You guys ready for this? My dark horses. I'm really excited to see. Excited.
We're
interested. Arizona State. I'm very excited. One, Trisha Ford, phenomenal coach. She's got a solid coaching staff. Excuse me. I'm excited about them because they returned two of their starting pitchers with Brianna Maka and Giselle Juarez. Offensively, Sachelle Palacio and Chelsea Gonzalez are hot on my list. And then not to mention that I believe they have 3 Fresno State transfers coming in to add a significant amount of depth to their lineup and defense. So I expect them to have a much stronger performance going into this year. One, Juarez is now a sophomore. Maka is a senior. I think it's just like a good combo. I would assume just like things just feel more comfortable. When you get that turnover with the new coaching staff, you're building culture. You're building a new way of things, how you go about doing things as a team. So I expect them to be a problem for many teams.
I definitely think offensively they're going to be a problem for teams. When you return 3 players who have 40-plus RBIs in the season, in a challenging conference of the Pac-12, they're going to be causing some problems with people. And you mentioned the pitching staff that they're bringing back. Going to be another year older, going to be another year better. I'm excited. I'm interested and excited.
There you have it.
There's the deal on Arizona State.
Using our favorite adjectives.
Favorite adjective. We don't get fancy here. Interested and excited is what we are. Let's talk another dark horse. And we kind of hinted this a couple. We've been talking about them a little bit. Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm. Are they a dark horse now?
I think they're still a dark horse.
I think they're still a dark horse.
Our third one, we might have a problem convincing people they're a dark horse. But I still think Ole Miss is a dark horse.
Again, we're going to go right back to pitching. You return Kaitlyn Lee, who we know she's just dynamite in the circle.
She's a fantastic season.
Like, I feel like that girl never runs out of energy.
She doesn't.
Like, she pitched how many games in that UCLA series and then, like, was dancing and had, like, a rally cap on? It's just like, you think she'd be, like, keeled over at the end of the dugout. But nope.
She's ready to go.
She's ready to go. And I feel like she's going to get after it, just like she did last year. I think adding Ava Tillman is huge for them.
What's she going to bring? What's she going to bring to Ole Miss?
Well, she's going to bring the heat.
She's going to bring the heat.
We saw Ava this summer pitch very well. So I expect her to have a strong freshman season. Now it's going to be interesting to see. It's different when you're playing club, and I mean we cover club softball, but once you make that jump to the SEC or Pac-12 or Big 12, it's just things change from a routine perspective, like the added pressure, because that's one of the things that's going to come up with Ole Miss. Can they actually get to the Women's College World Series? Will they have, like, all these questions are floating around and these expectations start to, like, rise to the surface. So how do these underclassmen, like, deal with those pressures?
We got some chatter about Ole Miss here.
Okay.
Nestor's saying that few players left Ole Miss, and we got a question: does Ole Miss have the pitching depth for a whole season? Which I think is a very valid question. What do you think about their staff going the whole season? Do they have that depth?
To me, I think we've seen this with a number of teams. It's like literally like a 1-2 punch. If you at least have a 1-2 punch in your pitching staff, that's really all you need. I mean, unless you're Oklahoma.
Unless you're Paige Parker, and then
I mean, unless you're Oklahoma,
that's like a 1-2-3 punch just with her. But yeah, no, I think 2 solid pitchers in college is enough to get you through a season and have a very good season, and possibly win it if you have the offense behind you.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. This is interesting.
Yeah, I want to set you up for this because you're the former Longhorn.
Yeah.
Which, hold on a second. Sherwin, Chez is the best.
Thanks, Sherwin. Appreciate it.
Nobody says anything like that for me. It's all Chez. Somebody said hello to you too. I kind of let that go.
I saw Joe. Hi, Joe.
So Chez is the best, and now we want to know what this former Longhorn thinks of Texas with Chloe Romero coming into the circle.
Okay, let's just keep it real. So we saw Chloe, junior year of high school, have a breakout season.
Sure did.
She took the California Cruisers.
Who is Chez's dad's team?
Yep, that's my dad's
I'm gonna plug him.
All right. Mel.
So you don't have to.
Mel, I know
Mel
you're not
Sievers,
watching.
we're talking about you. He's not watching.
He's not watching.
He's not watching.
He doesn't even know. Yeah.
He's not watching.
Well, anyways, so junior year, she takes the Cruisers to the championship game at PGF. Phenomenal breakout season. Last season, I think she would probably agree that she kind of underachieved in a sense of she didn't pitch her best game. But what I will say about Chloe Romero is that she's gonna fight. You know what I mean? She's gonna compete in the circle, which I think is something that Texas definitely needs going into this next season after losing Tiara Davis. And then you have Erica Wright. So I like the combo of Erica Wright and Chloe Romero. Similar in I wouldn't say personality, but presence on the mound. You know, they're in control. They're gonna give it their all. I would love to see her have a great season. She's got really good rise ball that we saw that was very effective her junior year of high school. So I think she can certainly help them. I'm expecting a better season from Texas, to be honest with you. I would love to see them in the top 25. So if you guys could do that for me, I'd appreciate it. Thanks.
There you go, Longhorns. You got an alumni giving you some props.
Yeah, just get there already. I've been waiting way too long for this.
So we're talking Arizona State, Ole Miss. We're talking Texas. Somebody asking about South Carolina and their pitchers Kelsey O and Victoria Galvin.
Okay.
Do you have anything to say on South Carolina as a potential dark horse this season?
I think they have the potential. They didn't. I mean, they had a decent season last year. They added Matt Lyle as the new hitting coach. I think that'll be.
I think that's a great ad.
The guy loves hitting.
Hitting
and
is
softball,
his life.
And baseball.
And that's it.
And no. I'm gonna leave that out. I'm gonna retract
He loves
that
softball
statement.
and hitting, and I mean, what else do you want in a hitting coach besides loving softball and loving hitting? I think it's a good hire.
I think they're gonna have a good season. Kelsey O, I think, is a good ad. They're gonna need pitching going into this season. I think offensively we should expect good numbers, given Matt's expertise as a hitting coach. So I'm excited to see them. I would like to see them play.
Yep.
And I'd have a better gauge on where they're going to be.
Yeah, we don't get to see them live
because
because
we live.
Go to Mary Nutter, South Carolina.
Just do it already. It would help us talk about you.
We got one last one, which I'm not sure if we can even call these guys a dark horse anymore because we've been calling them a dark horse for 2 years now.
Yeah.
And they've had a great deal of success. But Utah, I still like Utah. I know they lost their 2 middles.
Yep.
But they still have pitching.
Yep.
So what's your take on Utah? Are they even a dark horse anymore? They were your original dark horse.
They were.
They're right here for you.
They were. I felt like I was pretty right on about that.
I think you were spot on with them.
Look, Utah is going to be strong. Obviously, it goes back to pitching. When you have your 2 aces return, I mean, that's a big deal. That's going to get you a long way, right out of the gate. Not to mention that they come with postseason experience. The question is going to be who's going to fill the middle spots, because they lost both of them.
Mm-hmm. That's a tough loss.
Yeah.
That's a big loss.
Just flipping alone on top of that. And not to mention that they were like a huge core to that offense.
Yeah.
But I will say, if there's a player to watch on this team, it's Kelly Martinez, their catcher.
Yeah.
To me, she might be one of the most underrated catchers in the country. And I love how she catches behind the plate. I think she's super solid. And I would expect her to have a better offensive year this year. And it's just going with maturity and experience. But the Pac-12 in general, it's going to be another battle, I would say, going into the 2017-2018 season.
Yeah, I think a little bit of Utah will depend on their freshmen. They have 6 freshmen coming in.
That's a lot.
So they have the pitching, the veteran pitchers. They've lost the middles. Can any of those freshmen kind of step in and kind of fill any holes?
Well, they're going to have to.
Yeah.
They're going to have to.
Will they fill them well? Will they fill them enough to get Utah back to where it was last season? So we'll see. But of all the dark horses we've talked about, Chez, who's your favorite dark horse?
My favorite dark horse. I don't know. A favorite.
Favorite, who do you think's gonna have the best season?
Out of the 3 teams we mentioned?
Out of the 3 plus, we mentioned Texas and South Carolina.
Ooh. The best. This might sound wild, but I think Arizona State's going to have a good season.
I'd like to make this interesting and disagree with you, but I actually think Arizona
You agree with me.
I actually think Arizona State's going to have a fantastic season. When you have that much offensive firepower coming back, and you got freshmen, and you got young pitchers who have a year under their belt, I don't know, folks. I like the Sun Devils. I like how they're looking right now on paper.
I agree with you. Weird.
Yeah. We try to disagree so it makes it more interesting, but we had to agree on that one.
Let's see. Donnie Hagberg has a question. Why do longtime coaches with a program get to flounder for years and keep their jobs while at the same time new coaches to programs are put on a short leash?
That's a great question, Donnie.
My answer is it just depends on the AD.
Yeah.
So it depends how invested that AD is in the softball program and really the women's programs in general. To me, that's what it kind of boils down to. Because if that's just not at the top of their list of priorities, then they can hang out for a bit.
We also got a question.
Okay.
What's your opinion about the Bruins?
Oh, the Bruins.
Wow. That's a broad topic there.
Let's see. My opinions on the Bruins. One, early during the season, they drive me crazy because we'll rank them high and then they'll lose to somebody that they shouldn't be losing to. And then
lo and behold,
and here they are at the
they make the Women's College World
Series.
Series. I think
they do it every year.
The Bruins are your version of LSU for me.
Yes.
That's how I feel about LSU every season. And then lo and behold, they're in the Women's College World Series. They have a great season.
They're just they're a team who you can never count out. I told Kelly that because she was like, honestly, Chez, what do you think of our program? I'm like, literally, you can never count. I can never count you guys out.
No, they know how to win. The program has a legacy of winning.
When it counts.
And they do. Season after season, they're winning when we're no, they're not going to make the Women's College World Series. There they are.
And there they are.
There they are.
Year after year.
Oh, Zachary, since we'll stay in the Pac-12. Zachary, does Washington have the depth behind Alvelo to win the Pac-12?
Ooh, to win the Pac-12.
He thinks it's an Oregon UCLA is the top battle, but where's Washington?
I would agree. That would be the one thing I would worry about with Washington. Taryn's going to have her games. She's a bulldog. And it will depend on the other pitchers to come fill in those innings. I just think, from a pitching perspective, and holistic team perspective, as far as talent and pound for pound goes, Oregon and UCLA kind of rank at the top for me. But I mean, it doesn't mean that Washington can't go in there and sneak some big wins against both programs.
They're a big time program. Washington's not gonna have their day.
Where were they? Like in Oregon last year, and then won that series, which I mean, a lot of us weren't expecting, but they have the capability. Now, how do you really replace Ali Aguilar?
I don't think you look at it like that because you're not.
Yeah.
Right? You're not going to do that. So it's a matter of, rallying behind Alvelo, filling the holes in the offense that may exist because of Aguilar. But you're not going to get another Aguilar in there. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. I think I would expect their power numbers to not be where they were.
Sure. That makes sense.
From this last season. But they're a phenomenal team. They're going to do well. I wouldn't count them out of the World Series by any means.
Before our studio guy needs to go to lunch, we're going to talk Big Ten.
All right.
What's your take on Big Ten?
My take on Big Ten?
Yeah. Just Big Ten question mark from Teresa.
Wow.
I'll start. I think
go.
Michigan is still in a rebuilding. I think they're still going to be rebuilding this season. I don't think they're going to be the team that we saw 2 or 3 years ago with the Sierras and Betza. I think they're still going to be a solid team. They're going to be 1-2 up there with Minnesota, right?
I would be bold and say Minnesota takes the Big Ten again this year.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say that, but you cut me off.
Yeah.
Chez.
Well,
look at Chez just
sorry.
jumping in there again, or camera time. To finish, I was going to say Minnesota is going to take the Big Ten, but Chez said that for me. So
yeah, too late.
I was rambling and she just cut in there. But yeah, I don't think Michigan's going to be the team that we've seen the last couple seasons, and I do think Minnesota is going to have another solid season.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they return Kendall Lindemann, and also I'm slipping my mind. I got to look it up now. So 2 huge offensive players on their softball team.
The question on Minnesota is like, can you replace Grunewagen?
Right. You add Sidney Smith, so I think you have a shot.
I'm excited to see Sidney Smith. I'm interested and excited. Because she was kind of the number 3 behind, at LSU, and I just felt like she didn't get enough reps just because, there were 2 fantastic pictures in front of her. Now she's going to be the ace, probably, at Minnesota. I'm very excited to see how Sidney Smith does at Minnesota.
I mean, listen to this. Between Kendall Lindemann and Sydney Dwyer, each of them had 76 RBIs apiece.
That's unreal. Wow.
And you returned them both.
Yeah, there's your take on the Big Ten, folks. That
now
right there.
We know everyone, it's going to come down to their schedule. So are there some changes to the schedule this 2018 season? Because obviously that was kind of what played into the whole bracketing system. So
we don't have the time for me to discuss how that bracketing system went.
Okay.
But
all right, deal.
Makes me angry, but anyway, I think that's what we got.
Yep.
That's the deal, folks. We've got 2 live club events.
Yep.
This weekend.
Up in the club.
PGF Shootout and Faster to First. Going to be a great opportunity for you to see some of our Hot 100 players live in action.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be sweet.
So don't miss them. And we're here to give you the deal.
Rambling.
I'm rambling. So Chez is going to cut me off.
Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.